Hi there, welcome back to the DutchRC channel. And today I'm gonna do a sort of build video. Some of you might have seen this Pursuit boat of mine in previous videos on my YouTube channel. Some of you may not. Now you have. Okay, so from those videos I got quite a lot of questions on how I have built this Pursuit boat. As you have noticed, this is not a standard Pursuit, not a standard monohull speedboat. It has two outboard motors. And people that know me a little know that I like to build things that are different, things that nobody else has. And this is one of my projects. Most of these monohulls have a motor, one motor inside and a prop going out, of a prop shaft going out with a propeller at the back, a rudder, and maybe some other hardware, turn fins, but not this one. I put two outboards on it because I like the looks of that. A lot of real life boats have outboard motors, so that's why I constructed this boat. And now my aim with this boat was not to have a super fast mega speedboat. I wanted it to first look nice, and secondly to have it plane smoothly and realistically. And well, a lot of the design considerations went into the last part of those requirements. I'll catch up on that later, of course. Now, as I mentioned, lots of people ask me how I've built this boat, and this is a one-off project of mine, so I'm not going to be building another one, and that makes it hard to show you how I've built it. Nevertheless, I've made quite a lot of pictures while building this boat. So I can show you those pictures and talk you through those and tell you why I've done certain things in a certain manner. And let's first start out by giving you a fast overview of what the boat is and what hardware is used. Well, as you see, it's a monohull. There are a lot of monohulls, and if I take off the hatch, there's a lot of space in this hull. It's a fiberglass hull. No need to reinforce it with panels. So you've got lots of space to play with. And a normal setup for this boat would have a brushless motor approximately here, with a flex shaft going out to the back, and at the back, a bit hard, the motors are obstructing your view, of course, but at the back, of course, there would be a propeller, a rudder, some turn fins, stabilizations, or other hardware, anything you like. And a standard build would also have a steering servo, just as mine does. And that's where the comparison ends, really. As you can hopefully see, mine has two ESCs, would stand to reason, of course, two motors, two ESCs. A steering servo which controls both the outboards. As you can see, the maximum steering angle is not a lot. I think about 35 degrees maximum. That's really perfect for this boat. It makes it run through corners very smoothly. And I'm not sure if you can see that, but here's a receiver. This is one of the receiver's antenna. And here's a plate on which I put my lipos. This boat runs on 2 lipos, 4000 mAh, 3S high C lipos, 70C lipos I use in this boat. Okay, what else should I tell you about this boat? Yeah, the brushless motors themselves are in here. So they're outside of the boat. They have a flex shaft going to the propellers. Here are the propellers. And at the back of the motor assembly is a water intake. Just a piece of pipe. Works very well. And this what should I call this, silicon wire goes up to the motor, so it cools the motor. After that it runs into the hull at the back of the boat. Then it runs through the ESCs, both of them, and on both sides of the boat there's a water outlet. So that's a quick rundown of the boat. Now I will switch to the pictures and I will talk you through that. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Now, the first challenge I had in this build was finding a suitable hull, of course. And a lot of speedboat hulls have a bit of a curve at the back from left to right or from top to bottom, or they have an overhanging plateau at the top of the stern of the boat. So those kinds of hulls were all unsuitable for my build. And this is a HobbyKing Pursuit hull. You see now the stern of it, and from the pictures on the HobbyKing side that looked at least flat and not angled. Some speedboats have a slope to the back, that this point is further backwards than the top. That wouldn't be suitable either. But this Pursuit hull looked suitable. Was a bit of a gamble when I ordered it, but when I got it in, yeah, the stern of the Pursuit hull is perfectly flat, and it has a little bit of an angle, but nothing to worry about. So, well, that was the first challenge, and then I was able to start the real build. And in this picture here, you can see that I have put masking tape at the stern of the hull. And this picture is a bit unfocused, sorry for that, but I cut the masking tape along the perimeter of the stern of the hull. And then what I did, I took off that layer of masking tape and transferred it to a sheet of foam board as a template, really. So with that template I made 2 pieces of foam board. This is the one that's exactly the same size as the stern of the Pursuit hull, and this one here is 2 millimeters shorter or less wide and 2 millimeters less in height. And well, what is that used for? Well, I wanted to put a piece of wood on the inside of the stern of the hull to reinforce that. You can imagine that 2 motors that will be pushing from the stern of the hull that'll put quite an amount of stress on the hull. So I wanted to reinforce that. And here's the piece of wood I made from that. I'll get back to the previous picture. From this slightly smaller template I made this piece of wood. It's a 4mm piece of hardwood. And there's that same piece of wood on the inside of the hull. It's epoxied in, so it's very sturdy. Now in a short while I'll also show another reinforcement I made, but I think this is more than adequate in terms of reinforcement. So, as you know, I also had the other template that is precisely the same width and height as the stern, and I used that to draw up the placement of the two motor mounts. Later on I'll also draw up on this where the steering rods will go through and the water inlets. But the main thing was, of course, the motor mounts. You see one motor mount here. Of course, there's another one that will be placed over here. Now, I have really mainly eyeballed the height and the width placement of these motor mounts, so that if the boat is in plane, the propeller will just be in the water. The propeller will be approximately here. Alright, so after that I just taped on that template back to the stern of the hull. You can see a slight piece of yellow on the top here, that's the hull, and it's taped on. And you can also now see the steering rod holes. Those have already been drilled out. These two holes are for the water throughputs. And it's a bit messy in this picture, I guess, but 4 holes on this side and 4 holes on this side. Those are the drill holes for the motor mounts. Okay, next picture, voila! Now you see the stern of the boat with 2 motor mounts, 2 throughputs for the steering rods, and 2 water throughputs. That'll be for the cooling. Alright, next picture. A little more progress. These rubber boots. Those are the throughputs for the steering rods, and of course the rubber boots are to prevent water going into the hull. And you see 2 copper pipes. Onto those I will attach the silicone tube that will run the water into the cooling water into the hull. Okay, next picture. Now you can clearly see those 2 rubber boots over here. And I have epoxied 2 fairly large earth magnets to keep the lid of the boat on. You might be wondering, is that enough? Well, yes, I can. If I hold on to the lid now, I can pick up the entire boat, including lipos, so they are sufficiently strong. And of course I also put magnets onto the lid itself. Okay, and here you see my first mock-up test to see if the angle and the height of the motors was right. And it was. Here a bit more from the side. And you can already see part of the water system. Over here you can't see it clearly in this picture, but over here are water inlets and the tube runs the water into a cooling jacket on the underside of the motor. Okay, and here you see the first stage of fitting the steering servo, and you can also see the steering rods. And what I was doing here was figuring out how high, what the elevation of the servo would need to be. This picture mostly shows the same thing, really. Oh, you can also see here that I fitted silicone wires that run into the stern of the boat. Okay, and here's another mock-up. Here you can really see what the boat is going to be like. The engine covers are on. Looks really nice, I think. Alright, now brushless motors, of course, and I had to run the motor wires into the hull, of course, also. These engine covers come down quite a lot, so I couldn't, for instance, run the motor wires over the top of the stern. Looked stupid. So I opted for making 3 holes on either side. And here you can see the 3.5mm bullet connectors. On the inside of the boat, of course, there are wires. And I waterproofed that with some plastic dip and shrink tube. That works really well this way. And in this picture, the first thing you can see is the motor wires running into the hull, and I've made a plateau. I'm not sure if that's a correct English term for it, but the steering servo with a mount is now epoxied onto a plateau that elevates it to the right level. In this picture you see my first water test to see if everything is watertight. I've left it in my bathtub for about 2 hours and there was not even a drop in the boat, so that worked out really well. And well, here we are nearing the completion of the build, really. As you can see, the ESCs are in, and there's a mount for the lipos. The ESCs are connected to the motors. And in a later picture you will see that I'm using other ESCs. These ESCs are fine, but not in combination with those motors. I didn't know that, but the timing was off and I couldn't have these ESCs used the correct timing. That resulted in a stuttering motor. So after a while, here you can see a little more detail of the elevation plateau for the steering servo, and you can see here that the silicone wire runs from the stern up to the ESCs and out to the sides of the boat. There, it's a bit hard to see, and at this side, I guess, here's a silicone wire with an outlet, water outlet, and on this side of the boat there's also a water outlet. And as you can see here, I'm now using Turnigy Marine 120 ampere ESCs, and these work great. There are a couple of movies on my channel about my test runs with this boat. The last one of those is I was driving with these ESCs, and they work out very well. So that's it for my pictorial of this build.